Shir hamangois, mimamakim krasicha Adonai, Adonai shema v'kenli, tiyanas necha kashuvois l'kol tachanunai, im avoinais tishmar ya, Adonai miyamoid, ki mecha haslicha leman tivarei, ki visi Adonai kivsa nafshi, v'ledvaroi ha'ichalti, nafshi Adonai mi shoimrim laboiker, shoimrim laboiker. Yachel Yisrael al Adonai, ki im Adonai hachesed v'harbe imoi fedos. V'hu yiftes Yisrael mikol avoinoi sov. Maskil David, b'yosai v'amara sifila. Kaili al Adonai as Kaili al Adonai as Hanan. Ashpoich lefanav sichi, sarasi lefanav agid. V'satef al hayruchi, ata yadata nesivasi, b'oirach zu ahalech tamenu fachli. Habet yamin re'eh ve'en li makir, avad manais mimani, ein dairesh l'nafshi, za'akti ein lach Adonai, amarti atamachsi. Chalki bi'aretz hachayim, hakshiva arinasi ki l'aloisi miyoid, hatzileni mirodfai ki ametzu mimeni. Haitzia mimazgen ashira edes es shemacha v'yachziru tzadikim ki sigmor aloi. V'zbar leDavid, Adonai roi loi echsar. V'nais tasha yarbitzeni, al mei menuchai sinahangeni. Nafshi yeshoife v'yancheni, v'magrei tzedek leman shemoi, gam ki elech b'geit zalmoves. Lo ira ra ki ata imati, shivtecha v'shantecha, heimei nachamuni. Taroi lefonai shulchan neged zoyroi, di shanto v'ashemen raishi, kaisi rivaya, ach toiv v'chesed yedefuni kol yemei chayai. Shavti b'veis Adonai, oirech yamim, amnatzeach ben ginais amashmines mizmor leDavid. Adonai al bi'avchos echicheni, yar b'chamasechos yasreini. Chaneni Adonai ki umlang ani, fa'eni Adonai ki nevalu atzamai. Nafshi nevhala me'oid, yata Adonai ad masai. Shuva Adonai chalta nafshi, haishieni l'ma'an chasdecha, ki ein b'maves zechrecha, b'shoil miyoidelach. Yagati be'anchasi yascha v'chalayla mitasi v'demasi arsi yamse. Ashesha mikas eni, aseka b'chol tzayrai. Sur mimeni kol poyale aven, hishama Adonai kol b'chi. Shama Adonai t'chinasi Adonai t'chinasi kach. Yvaishu yibalu me'ay kol ayvai, shuvu yvaishu rag.
Mizmor leDavid, Adonai ro'i lo achsar b'nos desher batzenu, amene menuchos yahaleni. Nafshi yeshove yanchenu b'maglei tzedek l'ma'an shemo, ki gam elech b'gei salmelves, lo ira ra ki atai modi, shiftecha u'mashantecha hema, yinachmuni taruch lefanai, shocha neged surai, teshanta v'shemen roshi kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed yerdefuni kol yemei chaya, v'shifte V'veis Adonai la'orech yamim. We say together Psalm 23, the Lord's Prayer, a song of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. God causes me to lie down in lush pastures. God leads me beside tranquil waters. God restores my soul and guides me in righteous paths for God's name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your scepter and staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in full view of my adversaries. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for length of days. We're here to pay tribute to Dr. Layton Kest, Label ben Avraham. He was a wonderful husband to Barbara, a fantastic father to Rick and Michelle, Julie and Steve, and Susie and Mark. The proud grandfather of Marissa, Kylie, Max, Bo, Nikki, Josh, and Danny. Why was I asked to officiate today? Number one, because I've learned with Dr. Kest for a few years, but more importantly, we were like family. The Belkins and the Felds and the Kests were mishpacha. When my cell phone rang at 12:20 Saturday night, and I saw it was from Barbara's cell phone, I dreaded answering the phone. It was Julie, and I started to cry. But when it really hit me was when I was davening the next morning. I've been praying every day for Label ben Matahinda for years. I couldn't believe it. He's bounced back so many times in the past few years. What's the purpose of a eulogy, a hesped in Hebrew? The idea is for us to learn something from the person's life and implement it in our own lives. This is the greatest honor we can do for their soul and to bring comfort to their family. Dr. Kest was born March 15, 1929 in Cleveland. He grew up in Cleveland except for 5 years when he lived in Buffalo, New York. Layton was bright, very bright. He skipped both 5th and 7th grades. And the family moved back to Cleveland when Layton was in high school. He was a National Merit Scholar. He graduated valedictorian of Shaw High School in East Cleveland. Rick shared, because he just came back late in high school, no one really knew who the valedictorian really was. Who was this guy? He got a full scholarship to Adelbert College, which we know as Case Western University. He then received another full scholarship to Northwestern Medical School. He did his urology residency at Cook County Hospital in Chicago, which was and still is a war zone. He needed some extra money during residency, so he learned anesthesiology and moonlighted as an anesthesiologist. Dr. Kest came back to Cleveland to work at Mount Sinai Hospital. He became the head of the urology department. He loved to teach, and he taught hundreds, if not thousands, of residents until the closing of the hospital in 1995. Dr. Kest performed the first kidney transplant in Cleveland. I remember one Shabbos, he told me how he went on a plane to pick up the kidney with an ice chest, then flew back to the hospital and performed the operation. However, this is not why Mount Sinai Hospital was so special to Dr. Kest. The real reason why it's so special to him is because that is where he first met Barbara, his soulmate and wife of 55 years. Barbara was attending Berkeley, the University of California, when her parents decided to move. So she came back to Cleveland to help them with the move. While she was here in Cleveland, someone suggested that she should volunteer as a candy striper at Mount Sinai Hospital. She was volunteering at the front desk when this young doctor kept coming up to the desk and asked, was Dr. Kest paged? Was Dr. Kest paged? After a few weeks, he asked her out. Barbara planned to return to Berkeley in the fall. When she informed Layton she was leaving, he informed her that she wasn't leaving. They were married on August 19th, 1961. They wasted no time starting a family. Rick, Julie, and Susie were born soon after that. Although he was an extremely dedicated and prominent doctor, his family was his main priority. He was home every night to eat dinner with the family, and there were certain formalities in the Kest home. Everyone had an assigned seat for dinner, and everyone was trained how to answer the phone properly. Kest residents, this is Julie speaking. May I ask who is calling? And then there was the 1 hour rule. You were only allowed to watch 1 hour television a night. All the kids remember going to Dr. Kest's office on the weekend and getting to play in the office with the electric typewriter and phone system. However, the real fun came every summer when the family went on a month vacation. No one forgot the summer when they borrowed a station wagon and headed out west. Although he had a very mild-mannered demeanor, he was quite competitive. He loved to play tennis. His kids reminisced about his killer backhand drop shot that died before anyone could get it. And Rick remembers when he first started to be able to beat Dad, Dad loved to play him even more because he loved competition. I don't think it's an overstatement to say he was brilliant, and he probably had a photographic memory. He was a master bridge player and loved to play games with the family. Marissa remembers Grandpa teaching her how to shuffle cards and play chess at a very young age. She also remembers how much he appreciated spending time with her. Steve recalls when he got engaged to Julie, he asked Layton, "What should I call you?" So Layton responded, "Dad." From that day on, even before they were married, he always felt like a son, and Susie's husband, Mark, felt the same way. Layton made them immediately feel like part of the family. He also had a very good sense of humor. Susie remembers being in a store with him while he bought something for her mom. The sales clerk asked him something about the credit card. He responded, "How do I know? I just found this on the floor." He loved to travel the world with Barbara and shared many trips with his sister and brother-in-law, Sandra and Larry Levy. He enjoyed learning about new cultures and seeing God's wonders. He wasn't afraid of challenges, and he wanted to inculcate into his family never to be afraid of a confrontation. One of the challenges he faced was trying to learn how to swim. It was not natural for him. He took lessons, he tried many times. Finally, in 1990, he built a lap pool in his backyard that was shallow enough that he could stand up, and he did it. He taught himself how to swim. I think one of the most incredible things I heard from the family was that he used to be a smoker. And when the Surgeon General came out and said that smoking was dangerous for you, he quit that day cold turkey and never had another cigarette. What an amazing display of willpower and self-control. When I asked the family what character traits stand out about your dad, they responded, he was sincere and caring, firm but gentle. He was a student of knowledge and wanted clarity in whatever subject he was interested in. He always had a smile. Julie said, "I never saw him get angry." And Barbara said, "I never heard him say an unkind word in 55 years. We are in a special time period right now in the Jewish calendar. It is called the week of Tashlumim. Just like Passover and Sukkot are a week long, so too, in a certain aspect, the holiday of Shavuos is also a week long. Shavuos is the holiday we commemorate when God gave the Torah at Mount Sinai. I think it is so appropriate that Dr. Kest passed away during this week. He loved learning Torah. I had the privilege of learning with Dr. Kest for the last 2 years. He would greet me at the door wearing his sweats and his big yarmulke with grandpa written on it with puffy paint. As soon as I sat down, he would share something that he just read in a Jewish book, or he'd ask me a question. And after we'd study for an hour, he would repeat the main ideas we spoke about, and then he would say, listen, I need to go and write this down. I have to remember this. And then within a few days, I would hear from Julie or one of her kids reporting back what we learned. Besides his love of learning Torah, I think it's also very fitting that he passed away at this time for another reason. Torah was given at Mount Sinai. In rabbinic literature, Mount Sinai represents humility. If a person wants to learn Torah, if he wants wisdom, they have to be humble. I think that really was the secret to his success. All these beautiful stories really stem from his humility. How does a spouse of 55 years say, I never heard him utter an unkind word? How does a daughter say, I never saw my father get angry? It's only because he had humility. The Jewish definition of humility is not meekness. It's recognizing your talents, realizing they're a gift from God, and being thankful. It's not a coincidence that this week's Torah portion teaches that the reason Moshe was chosen to receive the Torah was because of his humility. There's a medrash that states, when God revealed himself, he held Mount Sinai over the Jews and asked them, do you want to accept the Torah? If not, this will be your end. We don't take the medrash literally. When God revealed himself, the Jews had such clarity and awe that they had no choice but to accept the Torah. I think what touched me the most talking to the family was when Rick, Julie, and Susie mentioned that their father never lectured them or told them what to do. He just role modeled what being a hard worker and a mensch is. They didn't want to let him down. There was a certain awe and respect. There was a humble mountain hanging over them. To me, this is the ultimate lesson in parenting. Please allow me to take some literary license. The Medrash says that when God spoke at Mount Sinai, the Jews died from the experience, and Hashem had to revive them with a special dew. It happened 10 times at each saying of the 10 Commandments. This seems to parallel what Layton experienced the last few years. It seemed like he was on the throes of death, and God kept reviving him. That's why when Julie called me Saturday night, I wasn't expecting it, because he kept bouncing back. When he was in the hospital last year, one of the staff said to him, wow, you're Dr. Kest? And this is how one of the kids said it, you're still alive? You are such a legend. It's true. He was a gentle giant. He was that humble Mount Sinai. Dr. Kest worked at Mount Sinai almost 40 years. He met his soulmate there. And when it came time to return his soul, he naturally did it during the week of Tashlumim, when we commemorate when God gave the Torah on Mount Sinai. His soul should be bound up in everlasting life. Max?
Grandpa, how I felt said everything about you. Just want to say it in my own words. I want to tell you something that I learned. A name is not merely a convenient way of referring to a specific person. It defines and personifies his very essence. Grandpa, your Hebrew name is Leib, which means heart. You're such a genuine, pure-hearted person. Every time we came over or called you, your eagerness and excitement was strongly felt. You were so concerned and curious about our future. So what are you going to do in 4 years? What can you see yourself doing? You gave suggestions. It was tailor fit to every grandchild specifically. You're so interested in how our learning was going. Every time I called, you asked, how's the learning going? And are you happy? Those are the only two things that matter. Such a beautiful person. A delightful soul. It's such a pleasure to be with. Grandpa, your heart manifested itself beyond family. It manifests itself with your colleagues and your patients in the hospital. Every time I meet Dr. Goldman or Dr. Gordon, who I just saw over Passover, they're like, the first thing they say is, how's your grandfather? How's he doing? They admired your sweet demeanor and respected your high medical status and authority. The care that you gave your patients is a lesson for every doctor. You were not a collection of medical knowledge with external gestures of care like you find today. You were a caring person who used his medical knowledge as a tool to save others. You helped the young, the old, and also some very respected members of society. Grandpa, I'm already missing coming over to your house. Come, let's learn. What time are you coming? Let's learn our heritage. Sitting on the table waiting. You were so interested and intrigued by that book. I don't even know how you got your hands on it. The second you opened it, you could not put it down. Tell me something you learned. Just tell me something. You're interested in Torah at such a late stage in life, which is so unique. You asked insightful questions, and you were adamant for a satisfactory answer. We would discuss it. Rabbi Feld came over Passover. Me, Bo, Rabbi Feld, and Grandpa. And we were discussing something, and someone gave an answer. I don't remember who. And he wasn't going for it. It resonates or doesn't. You're such a real person. Grandpa, remember Pesach in Israel 4 years ago? We got that apartment. It was your first Seder with us. And you kept going back since. You could not. You said it was your best trip ever. It was mine also. And every Passover, you read something in our heritage, and you ingrained it in our tradition, in the Balkan tradition, as we're slowly compiling them. Next year in Jerusalem. Where are we going? Where are we coming? Where are we going from? Egypt. Where are we going? Israel. Next year in Jerusalem. Your humor was legendary and funny and appropriate. Right, Feld mentioned your humility. It's something that cannot be overlooked. You're so humble for what you've done in your life. Doesn't make sense how humble you are. Does not make an ounce of sense. No ego, no pride whatsoever. It's so inspiring. You're all about other people, nothing to yourself at all. There's a verse that says that Hashem gives favor to those that are humble. It was just very clear to see with you. You were pleasant to everyone. Therefore, you were beloved by everyone. Grandpa, we're all going to miss you dearly. We hope to inculcate at least some of the beautiful traits and lessons that you lived by throughout your beautiful journey of life. Bye now.
Oh. When our forefather Jacob bid his hometown farewell, the sages say that his departure did not go unnoticed by the people of his city. He was, after all, one of the forefathers, and he belonged to their city. When Jacob was around, there was a magnificence. There was a splendor that adorned the city. It was almost tangible. But when he left, all that he contributed to the atmosphere of the city left along with him. Everything suddenly turned gray. The streets, although full with people, seemed deserted. His empty seat in shul felt like a gaping hole. Whenever a great person dies, from Bible times until today, he leaves an impression on all of those who knew him. An impression of inspiration and the unyielding impression of his loss. I asked myself last night, what was the impression that Grandpa left on me? What did I feel when he was here? And what's sorely missing without him? I thought of a few things, but I'll choose one and end with that. Grandpa was optimistic. He looked for what he could do. He looked for what he could get out of life. He didn't focus on all that was out of his reach. When he began learning about the Torah, he started with Gemara, Ezeu Nashech, which, if you ask anyone, is the hardest parak in Shas. And he was disheartened.
It was hard. It was difficult. I thought he was going to give up. It was too hard. But he didn't. He found a different miktzaya. He found a different part of the Torah that would speak to him. And he wrote with it. I love you, Grandpa. And I will miss you. I already do.
Please rise. El Malay Rachamim Shochem Baromim Amsei Menucha Nechana Al Kanfei Ashchina Amalas Kadoshim Mataharim Kazaharekia Mahazerim Es Nishmas Label Ben Avraham Shahalach Lolamo Fa'avor Shanachnu Mitpalelim Biad Haskaras Nishmoso Began Eden Tehe Menuchoso Lachain Ba'al Harachamim Yesterehu B'Seser Knafav Lolamim Yitzra B'Tzra HaChayim Es Nishmoso Adonai Hu Nachloso V'Yonuach V'Shalom Al Mishkavo V'Nomar Amen. God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant proper repose on the sheltering wings of your presence, in the lofty levels of the holy and pure, who shine as the brightness of the firmament, unto the soul of Label, the son of Abraham, who has gone to his world, for whose memory we pray. May his repose be in paradise. May the Master of compassion bring him under the cover of God's wings and bind his soul in the bond of life. May the Lord be his heritage. May he repose on his resting place in peace, and let us respond. Amen. You could be seated. The service will continue. The interment will be at Mount Olives Cemetery. Shiva will be observed at the Kest residence, 2789 Shaker Crest Boulevard, Monday following the service until 9 p.m., Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 to 9. Beginning Thursday, the family will observe Shiva at the residence of Julie and Steve Belkin, 2531 Claver in University Heights. Thursday, 1 to 4, and then 6 to 9. Friday, 11 to 5. Friends who wish to contribute can contribute to Seidman Cancer Center, Aisha Torah of Cleveland, and the Kolel Zichron Chaim.